Hello everyone, welcome back to Pharma E-Class. I am Priya Mourya from Smriti College of Pharmaceutical Education in Indore. So in our previous lecture, we have discussed about the Six Sigma concept and the quality by design. Apart from that, let's discuss a new topic, that is good laboratory practices, that is also called as GLP. So GLP is an FDA regulation. GLP basically is a formal regulation that was created by the FDA, that is United States Food and Drug Administration, in 1978. Why GLP is created, we will discuss. First, discuss the definition of GLP. So GLP embodies a set of principles that provides a framework within which a laboratory studies are planned, performed, monitored and achieved and reported, and results are reported. So this is the basic definition of GLP. Why we need the GLP? So in the early 70s, FDA became aware of the cases of poor laboratory practices all over the United States. They discovers a lot fraud activities and a lot of poor lab practices. Example of some these poor lab practices found were equipments not being calibrated to the standard form, therefore giving the wrong measurements. Apart from that, incorrect, inaccurate accounts of the actual lab studies and inadequate test systems are followed in the laboratory. So because of all these reasons, the FDA found the need of GLP and created in 1978. There are various purposes of GLP which FDA regulates. So GLP is to certify that every step of the analysis is valid or not. That certifies GLP. And GLP assures the quality and integrity of the data submitted to the FDA in support of the safety of the regulated product. That means they have to assure the quality as well as the safety of the product. Apart from that, GLP have been emphasis on the data recording, record and specimen retention. That means they have to proper recording of the data and data retention for the shelf life of the particular product. These all are the purposes of the GLP. Apart from that, if we talk about what are the various principles of GLP, so these are the various principles of GLP. We will discuss one by one. So first one is test facility, organization and personnel. So in this particular, we have to study what are the basic facilities which we have to in any organization to perform the good quality of the test to any product. Apart from that, quality assurance program, what are the facilities, apparatus, material and reagents, test system, test and reference standards or substances, SOPs for that particular, performance of the study, reporting of the study result. Apart from that, storage and retention of records and materials. So these all 10. So first one is test facility, organization and personnel. So study should be study is the personnel responsibility. So the personnel should have the knowledge of the GLP principles and they have to assist to the study, plan and appreciate and appropriate SOPs for that particular test. And they have to comply with the instruction of the SOPs. They have to record the raw data as well. And they have to study, the personnel are responsible for the quality of the data. That means what will be the result is produced from the study. The personnel who is performing the test is responsible for that particular data. Exercise the healthy precautions to minimize the risk factor and to ensure the integrity of the study. That means we have to give a proper result of any analytical testing. Apart from that, the second one is quality assurance program. So in this particular, what will be the responsibilities of any quality assurance personnel? So they have to assess to the update study, plans and the SOPs for the particular test. Document verification of the compliance study, plan to the GLP principle, inspection to determine the compliance of the study with the GLP principle. There are three types of basic inspection. First one is study based inspection, facility based inspection, and process based inspection. So inspection of the final reports for accurate and full description, and they have to report the inspection result to the management, ultimately the conclusion statement. So this is about the quality assurance program and various responsibilities of the quality assurance personnel. The third one is basic facilities. So suitable size, construction and location of the laboratory is very much important. Adequate degree of separation of the different activities, that means there are various separate areas for different activities. Isolation of the test system and individual project to protect from the biological hazards. That means we have to prevent our test and standard sample from the biological hazards or bioburdens. Apart from that, suitable room for the diagnosis, treatment and control of the diseases, and the storage room. We have to kept and storage room for different type of activities. Apart from that, the next one is apparatus, material and reagents. So apparatus of appropriate design and adequate capacity must be there in the laboratory. Documented inspection, cleaning, maintenance and calibration of record is checked in regular basis. Apparatus and materials not to interfere with the test system. That means they must have calibrated and they should not interfere with the result. And chemical reagents and solutions should be labeled to indicate the identity, expiry and specific storage instruction, and the proper details of the chemical reagent must be there on the label. Apart from that, the next one is test system. So physical and chemical tests which are performed in the laboratory, they must have a system. Biological test system, record of source, data of arrival and arrival condition of the test system. That means we have to maintain a data or record from which source we have obtained the particular sample, date of arrival of the sample, and what will be the storage condition for the test system we have to mention. Apart from that, proper identification of the test system in their container or when they are removed. Cleaning and sanitization of the containers and the pest control agents to be documented. There is a must requirement that we have to keep a record for each and every process or each and every reagent which we have in our laboratory and with the proper labels. Apart from that, the next one is test and reference substances or test and reference items. So receipt, handling, sampling and storage is the main particular characteristic of the test and reference substances. Their characterization, known stability of the test and reference items, stability of the test item in its vehicle, that means in that particular container that in which the particular sample is stored. Experiment to determine the stability in the tank mixer used in the field studies. That means we have to check the compatibility for that particular reagent. Apart from that, samples for the analytical purpose for each and every batch we have to retain. So this is about the test and reference substances or items. The next one is standard operating procedure. This is the main and basic need for the good laboratory practices. This is the standard operating procedure or SOPs are the written procedure for a laboratory program. They define how to carry out the protocol specified activities. That means for each and every activity there is a specified protocol in the GLP. Apart from that, most often written in a chronological listing of action steps. That means in a chronological order, each and every step is specified in the SOP. They are the written to explain how to procedure and supposed to work. That means whenever any personnel follow the particular SOP, the step by step overall procedure is written in that particular SOP. The next one is performance of the study. So we have to prepare before performing a test. We have to prepare a study plan. We have to prepare the content of the study plan. For example, identification of the study. What are the various records we have to keep for the longer period of time. We have to mention a date of the test. Apart from that, reference to the test method. That means there are various reference procedure for the particular test methods, and what are the various information concerning the sponsor and facility and conduction of the study. So this is about the performance of the study. The next one is reporting of the study results. In what format we have to report the results. So information on sponsor and test facility. We have to experimental starting and completion dates. We have to mention the when we started that particular test and the completion dates. A quality assurance program statement must be there. Description of material and test methods, and the result is reported in an appropriate form, and the storage of the result or reporting likewise samples, reference item, raw data, final report, etc. we have to kept for the particular given period of time. The next and last one is storage and retention of records. So the study plan, raw material, sample, inspection data and master schedules, SOP, these all are the documents we have to maintain for a particular period of time, and we have to maintain and calibrate the data. If any study material is disposed of before the expiry, the reason should be justified, mentioned and documented. Apart from that, index of material is retained. That means what are the various records you have a particular index for that particular listing of the records. Apart from that, if we talk about what will contain a GLP, so a GLP contains the area should be free from the smoke, smell, and the area is dust free. And we have to ensure the good validation, proper illumination, and preferably a natural light, air conditioning with the air conditioned lab with the humidity control. Apart from that, there must be enough space for the measuring and testing of the instrument. They must have the proper arrangement for the testing. They have to take care of all the safety points, including the proper earthing as well as the fire safety. They have to avoid the uncleanable stock in the floor, walls and ceilings. This building specification you already known from the GMP practices, and you have to establish the proper areas for the storage of the incoming sample as well as the test completed sample. You have to keep that. Also provide the sample collection place as well as the packing and disposal of the test sample. So these all are the various benefits which we obtain from the GLP. What should we do to obtain the GLP certification from the FDA? So we have to keep the things at the right location after its use. We have to store the heavy things at the bottom, if possible on the trolleys. Give the name of location to everything. We have to follow everything has to be placed and everything at its place principle. That means we have to fix a particular place for a particular reagent or glassware or particular machineries. We have to prepare a location list and display it in our particular site apart from that, we have to put ladders for the things stored on the top. We have to identify everything with its name and for what purpose it will use, and we have to follow the we have to follow the FIFO to prevent the old accumulation for the laboratory chemicals. That means on the basis of expiration period, we have to change the particular reagent according to its expiration periods. So what are the benefits of implementing the GLP in any laboratory? So it will give you the better image of company as a quality producer in the global market, provide the hot tips on the analysis of data as well as measure the uncertainty and prefer the record keeping. They provide the guideline for doing the testing and measurement in detail, and also provide the guideline and better control for maintenance of the instrument, environmental control, preservation of the test records, etc. Apart from that, if we conclude the overall good laboratory practices, so it will give a better image of company as a quality producer in the overall global market, and provide the hot tips on the analysis of data as well as the measure uncertainty and prefer the record keeping and guideline for doing the testing and measurement in detail. Apart from that, finally the GLP provide a guideline and better control for the maintenance of instrument, environmental control, preservation of test record, etc. So this is all about the GLP and why we should implement GLP in our laboratory. Thank you.